Okay, so in this recording, we're going to talk to you about trap answers. Okay, trap answers are very, very important when it comes to the TOEFL iBT. Very important to understand. Most students actually focus on what's the right answer when they're doing their reading comprehension or their listening comprehension. They focus on what's the right answer. And the first thing you need to really realize is that one of the goals of the TOEFL iBT reading comprehension is to trick you, trap you, fool you. That is one of the goals, because they have to try to get rid of students who fall for certain kinds of traps. Because when you fall for those traps, it gives them an indication as to your English level ability. All right, and so first, let's understand that for the reading and the listening, 75% of the answers are wrong. 75% of the answers are traps. 25% are correct. 75% of the answers are traps. And so if you can't understand a trap, or if you don't recognize a trap, that's the reason why you could be getting so many wrong on your reading and listening comprehension. So you must be able to recognize traps when you see them, okay? So let's take a look at some of the trap answers that you're going to come across for reading comprehension. All right? One thing to understand is that you have what? One correct answer, 3 trap answers for every question. There are more incorrect answers than correct answers. So it's extremely important to understand about the trap or the bad answer choices. What's the purpose of an answer trap? Okay, we talked about that a little bit, but they're designed to distract your attention from the correct answer, to tempt you to pick them. The trap answer generally answers a question, but not the question. To be a truly well-written sucker choice, it has to be satisfying to an examinee. Trap answers look good. Trap answers look like that nice piece of cake after dinner. All right, they're designed to look that way. Trap answers usually leave the process a step short or include some partial correctness, but a fatal flaw. So watch out for those traps. One major trap is the trap of being not mentioned. With this trap means that they're going to have information inside of an answer choice that is not mentioned in the keyword sentence. And very often what they'll do is they'll put an exact word that they know you recognize from seeing in that paragraph, and they'll put some information that's not mentioned. Many times they'll put some kind of adjective or quantifier with it: few, many, most. But then that word, that quantifier or adjective is not mentioned, or there might be some language that's not mentioned. So be careful with this answer choice. Next, extreme answers. When answers are extreme, they are 90% of the time wrong. Never, always, impossible, entirely, similar, only. Watch out for extreme language. Extreme language is very often wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. When you see those words like only, never, impossible, it's wrong. It's wrong, wrong. Next, we have our adjective, qualifiers, quantifiers. This trap answer will often have exact language from the passage and some form of qualifier to make it wrong. Very, very often they'll do that. You'll see things like equal to, necessary, nearby, severe, steady, few, less than, likely, less likely, more likely, better than, much or many. And they'll add these words to an answer choice that uses exact language and make it wrong. So be very careful. When you see these kind of words, this kind of language, it should jump out at you, because it's very often used to make an answer totally incorrect. Wrong verb. Another trap answer that the ETS will do is they will include the wrong verb to make a choice wrong. In the passage, it might say increase, and the answer choice it says a decrease. So always, ladies and gentlemen, check your verbs. Right? Check your verbs. See if your verbs are a match. If they're not a match, then the answer is wrong. Exact language. As you know, we've talked about plenty of times that ETS believes in testing you for synonym language. All right? And often exact language is a trap because they know that students with low English levels pick exact language, and they want to get rid of them because they aren't ready to be able to attend an American university. So be careful with exact language. It's going to look good because it's the exact same words. And you need to understand that normally on an ESL school or ESL course, you do a lot of training for learning English with learning, hear this word, write this word, hear this word, write this word. Well, it's the opposite on the TOEFL iBT. It's the opposite. So be very careful with that, okay? Exact language is often wrong. Right answer, wrong question. This is a trap that gets a lot of students. A lot of students. Because if you're not following our method of knowing the keyword sentence, of what to read, the important sentence to read, recognizing the important sentence to read, then many of you are reading the whole paragraph. And so when you do that, you're going to see some answer choices that are in the paragraph, but they're not a part of the keyword sentence. These answer choices may be correct, but they're not part of the keyword sentence, so you can't pick them. But very often students do because those answer choices will have exact language and they look good. So you can have a right answer and wrong question kind of situation. Be careful with that. Altered information, very, very tricky trap. ETS will often use some type of exact language and then alter it by changing the time, changing the order, changing the subject and the object around. Be careful with this kind of trap also. The next two traps, too broad and too narrow, we'll talk about those a little bit later on. Those traps are more for listening. But be aware of your traps. Be aware of your traps. It's so important because 75% of the answers are traps. 75% are traps. So you want to be careful when you're dealing with those kind of trap answers. You want to make sure that when you are doing the TOEFL iBT and answering questions that you have a negative mentality when you're answering questions. Most students have a mentality of when they read a question, they're just looking for the right answer, looking for the right answer. And very often when you're just looking for the right answer, what you're going to end up doing is you will overlook the trap answers or the wrong answers. You'll overlook the traps because your goal is you're trying to make an answer correct. And very often when you mentally are trying to make an answer correct, you will overlook a trap. If when you're answering a question, your mentality is, let me see what's wrong here. What is wrong with this question choice? Very often, if you have your mentality set in that way, you'll be much more likely to notice a trap or notice what's wrong with an answer choice. So try to have more of a negative mentality mindset to make sure that you are able to notice and pick up on traps and are not trying so hard to make something correct that you ignore them. Okay? So that's a little bit about your mental approach when you're answering questions and also about the trap answers. Study this page hard, be aware of the trap answers, and watch for them so that you don't fall for them on your real exam. Be sure to watch our video on walking through the different practice tests so that you're able to follow how we point out the traps to you. Okay, have a great day.